So how can you, as a home buyer or home seller, learn from this case study, which examined a real-life transaction where buyers competed for a home they desperately wanted? Here are some helpful tips to get you started. Buyer tip number 1, get pre-approved. Jack and Jill made sure to get pre-approved for their home loan. Pre-qualified and pre-approved are two terms you may have heard before, and either is better than nothing. But if you want to stand the best chance of sellers approving your offer in a competitive situation, go through the extra steps of getting pre-approved. That means your mortgage lender may require a credit check and verification of things like income and assets, but when you're in the middle of a home purchase negotiation, you'll be glad you did that work ahead of time. Seller tip number 1, know your market. It's essential for home sellers to understand the real estate market environment they're selling into and how the home they're selling relates to that market. This typically means having your realtor provide a thorough review and comparison of your property with other recent, similar sold properties. The realtor for the seller that Jack and Jill purchased from knew the market and advised the seller to price accordingly. It paid off. And while there's usually a limit to how high you can push the price for any property, sufficiently motivated buyers may sometimes surprise a home seller. That's because if a buyer has definite needs, is highly qualified, and/or buying with all cash, home sellers then needn't worry about some of the usual concerns, such as an appraisal, because with well-qualified buyers having a large down payment, appraisals are either much less of an issue or, in the case of cash, not even necessary. Buyer tip number 2, count the cost. If the seller's price is higher than you'd hoped for, consider calculating the cost difference between the price you planned on paying versus what it will take to successfully have the best house bid. Over the life of a 15 or 30-year home loan, and depending on factors like interest rate, the difference of paying an extra $5,000 to successfully outbid any other buyer to get the house that fits your needs may amount to a few dollars or even less a day. Since purchasing one's dream home is a primary goal for many, some buyers take the big picture approach and wisely make concessions to a seller as necessary in order to first secure the home. Then, after perhaps having paid a bit more than they expected, they creatively make up the savings elsewhere, making up for what can amount to the above-noted few dollars a day difference. How? Some new homeowners shop more efficiently, pay property taxes in advance, thereby receiving a deduction, raise insurance deductibles, or forego that spendy latte every day on their drive to work and drink home-brewed coffee instead. When the goal is important, there's often a way to get it done. Seller tip number 2, don't be in a hurry. While it's not considered good form to make buyers wait excessively for a response, if there is already one good buyer in the mix and you have a few days to consider that offer currently on the table, another buyer may soon appear with the best offer of all. This is precisely what Jack and Jill's seller experienced. As a result, a case can be made for responding ahead of any offer deadlines, but not in a hurried fashion. Look to your real estate agent for guidance on this. Buyer tip number 3, reduce contingencies. There are important contingencies most home buyers include in an offer. These contingencies generally include a home inspection along with both appraisal and financing contingencies. However, some contingencies will damage your offer. That's because if you're making an offer on a home in a fast-paced competitive market and include a contingency that expects to take the seller's property off the market while you first try to get an offer on your own home, that kind of contingency is likely to jettison your chances. To be clear, a contingency tied to getting an offer on a buyer's home is decidedly different than the more common contingency of already having a sale on the buyer's home and writing an offer subject to the final closing on that home sale. Also consider other potential hot-button seller items like closing dates. If the seller wants a fast closing, consider a sooner closing date if possible and have your realtor write that into your offer.